Usman, another win, 7 in a row. We've got to be happy with that, even though it wasn't pretty tonight, was it?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't vintage Manchester United by any stretch of the imagination. Pardon me, bloody hell, I'm dying already. Should we start again?
That was that wasted pyro from the Everton fans with the goal disallowed, mate. You carry on, mate.
I'm going to carry on. We're going to start again, but we're not going to. So listen, I might as well just mention it. Those Everton fans, for that goal that was disallowed, they literally put every pyro out there just to go back to Liverpool with absolutely nothing to their name. A sack manager, hopefully board stays, hopefully Lampard stays. Yeah, absolutely shit. Just get that out first and foremost. But regarding Manchester United, like I said, it wasn't pretty. We didn't need to play too well to beat such a poor team. At the end of the day, that's just Liverpool for you in general. The city is absolutely shocking. But yeah, regarding Manchester United, for me, I will say one thing. I think some of our players, in the final third in particular, overplaying it to every extent that you can absolutely get. I think Martial, for me, was good in moments, but overall I expect more from Martial. Bruno, same for him, and Eriksen, all three of them just overplaying it. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence in front of goal, but one of them's got to start taking more shots. For me, they're not taking enough risks.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's that wasted opportunities which add pressure and then made it more of a game than what it was, really. Everton fed off United's, I would say, uncertainty in front of goal, and the wasted chances, and then they got that lucky goal, and it changes everything, doesn't it? It's all about finishing the chances and putting games to bed, and the longer it goes on when Everton feel like they're in a game or there's one in it, it's always that chance, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, in the Premier League in general, against any team, you're always giving them the opportunity to get back into the game. We've seen it time and time again in this season alone, but let alone over the years. For me personally, that is potentially going to be our Achilles heel. I think most fans will probably agree with me when I say our final third is our Achilles heel at the moment. Once it clicks, however, I do think we actually look like a decent team. Again, in transition, we look fairly positive in the manner in which we were moving the ball from back to front. But it's just that final killer instinct. I think for me, the biggest thing that I've seen from today is we're lacking a killer in front of goal. You saw Harry Kane the other day. Granted, for England it was a different scenario, but for Tottenham Hotspur, once again showing that killer instinct, in particular for that second goal. If you actually look at the replay, he didn't even know where the goal was. He didn't even look up to see where the goal was. He knows where the goal is, and that's something that's missing from the front line. So for me, we need to improve that massively going into these next couple of games where we're probably not going to get many chances.
Yeah, you said it there, that indecisiveness, that killer instinct. One player that has got that at the moment, 13 goals this season now, Rashford, involved in all 3 goals. Man of the match by clear daylight, I thought there today. Even got announced in the stadium, man of the match today. I mean, that guy has turned it around for Manchester. And you know what? You could say, like you just said there, without him at the moment, Usman, we're struggling a little bit in front of goal, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, I know people probably don't want me to say it, but we're too reliant on Rashford. I know at the end of the day, it's a
that after last season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how the tables have turned. But look, at the end of the day, it's a massive positive from a Rashford perspective. But again, I reiterate, we need other players to step up and chip in. At the end of the day, we've lost Ronaldo, whether it's good or bad. Ronaldo has the potential to score goals, or granted he didn't do it this season. Someone has to fill those goals. I mean, he scored 20 plus goals last season. Someone has to fill that void. We can't rely too much on Rashford. But for me personally, overall the play is actually improving a lot. You see more patterns of play in the final third. But one thing I do want to add, actually, Anthony as well. I know he scored today, but again, similar to what I've said with other players, take more risks. Anthony, he may not be the kind of player to take on his man. Fair enough, that might not be in his game, but I need him to get on the ball. I need him to start conducting and impacting the game, because he's capable of doing it. We saw it in moments towards the end of the second half when he actually got taken off. He was committing bodies, he was taking a couple of players on, playing 1-2s, give and goes. I need to see more of that from him. Martial, again, he needs to do more for me, but overall positive from the front line, but still a lot of improvements to go.
Yeah, I mean, Ten Hag talks about his wingers. His full-backs are important because he plays inverted wingers. I think Anthony's sort of handicapped with that. I mean, someone said to me in the crowd there today, he'd love to see Anthony just play on the left-hand side and just go down the line, because he never seems to take his man down to the bar. It's always a cut back and then full-back overlapping. I mean, would you say that Anthony's game is sort of hampered by the way Ten Hag wants to play a little bit as well, and the other wingers as well?
I don't think Anthony has that excuse, I've got to be honest, only because obviously he knows Ten Hag's system inside out. I mean, he was absolutely influential in everything good going forward for Ajax. There's a reason why Anthony, alongside Lissandro Martinez, were fan favourites at Ajax, and I don't think he has that reason. I mean, he's one of the only players alongside Martinez, as I mentioned, that do know the system. They've been with Ten Hag for a long period, and he was successful in the manner in which Ten Hag wants to play. I'm not sure if it's a confidence thing or if the shirt's weighing too much on him, but it comes down to risk taking. Rashford is a perfect example. As you mentioned last season, you know, he's basically gone the complete opposite way from the player he was last season. I mean, Rashford, I'm sure most fans were saying as well last season, he wouldn't take on anyone. He was scared to take on players, he was scared to lose the ball, he wasn't taking any risks, and I feel like Anthony and Sancho kind of fall into that category. They're both kind of new to the team. Sancho, of course, has been a bit longer, but I do think Anthony still is struggling a bit in that sense mentally, but once he gets over that, he does have the ability to turn it around.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good vibes, mate, here at Old Trafford. Usman, cheers for coming on and talking to us again.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you for having me.